great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. A judge from South Milwaukee resigns after being charged with making false statements on election nomination papers. 40-year-old Kelly Martika faces one misdemeanor count of false swearing. Prosecutors say Martika ran for municipal judge in South Milwaukee while being a resident of Racine. They also say she falsely claimed that she personally circulated the documents to get the signatures required to run for office. Martika won the election in April but resigned in September. She pled not guilty last week to the charge, and if convicted, she faces up to 9 months in jail. Wisconsin food assistance programs are at risk as the government shutdown enters its third week. More than 7,000 Wisconsinites could lose their SNAP and WIC benefits in November without a funding solution. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is asking the state legislature for $70 million to help keep the services running after funding cuts from the Big Beautiful Bill Act. DHS also needs more staff as the department processes more paperwork related to new work requirements mandated by the law. Ascension, Wisconsin reaches a new agreement with United Healthcare. The multi-year agreement ensures that individuals and families with United Healthcare coverage can continue receiving care at Ascension, Wisconsin hospitals, clinics, and outpatient facilities without disruption. This includes patients covered under Medicare and Medicaid plans. The two sides failed to agree on a contract renewal by an October 1st deadline. At the time, Ascension said the reimbursement rates offered by United Healthcare did not keep up with rising costs. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. All right. Where we at? So I was doing some thinking today, and that's the dangerous part of doing a talk show, because then you start to think about things and you start to try to connect the dots, and sometimes they connect and sometimes they don't. And so I was thinking about how we don't see the world the way that we should. We have to remember that no matter what we do, no matter what we say, there is a economic, I don't want to say outcome. There's an economic part to everything we do. We like to pretend like there's not. We like to pretend like, everything is great, but in the end, we don't look at the world the way that we should. And I know some people are going to get mad about some of the things I'm going to say, and everybody going to accuse me of being conservative and all that other nonsense. But one of the things that we need to look at is how we see the world, how we look at the world. And no, I'm not trying to pop off. So if you're in the YouTube chat, by the way, you can stream and watch us live on YouTube at 1017thetruth.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Every time we live, boop, it reminds you. No matter what happens, there's a thing called the truth that you can't get around. You can't change it. Doesn't matter how you look at the world. You can look back to the 40s and the 50s and see all white everything. You can look at history and see all white everything and say, we weren't represented. Well, we weren't in a place to be represented. So you're not going to be represented. And you can't work today to change the past. The past is the past. History is history. So if you're going to complain about who wrote the history book, write a history book. But what we're not going to do is argue and complain about things from a point of view that I don't want to call it irrelevant. I guess I have to call it irrational. We accept things, or should I say, we don't accept things that we should. We talk about black women and how black women want to do all these great things and black women want to have all these things. That's great. But what do you give up? What are you willing to give up? Is it worth it? If you want to live large, you got to work large. If you work large, that means you're not going to be at home. So when we start talking about all these kids that are ripping and running and tearing up the streets, we need to go back and look at what families did they come from. Because y'all told mama she could go to work and she could have everything. We made up these nonsense comments like there's a win-win. There's no such thing. And the person that doesn't win doesn't necessarily lose, but they don't get what the other person has. We make up things like quality time. What's that? So I'm not going to spend any time with you for weeks on end, and then we'll make it up on quality time, as if a couple of hours at the zoo with your kid is going to make up for 2 weeks of not paying them any attention. Basically going home, washing clothes, making meals, and going to bed. It's not. There's some things we give up when we get what we want. But you have to be clear. You have to live in the real world. You cannot have everything. You literally cannot have everything. Oh, and Glenn, by the way, you can't mix teams. You either wear something with the Brewers or you wear something with the Bucks, but you can't wear Brewer Bucks.
They both have games tonight. Why can't I?
Because I said so. You can't wear Brucks. He said, why can't I? Because you can't. So is it the Brucks or the Brewers? Or the Brucks? It must be the Brucks. It's got to be. And it's glitter, too? Anyway. So see what I mean? He's a perfect example. You can't have everything. Sometimes people just live in their own world. The universe is not going to stop. It's not going to change because you decided that you thought you wanted something. It's just not. and so many things in the world. If we wanted to eradicate all disease, are you willing to pay for it? If you want to stop crime in Milwaukee, are you willing to pay for it? If you want the streets to be clean and garbage to be picked up, are you willing to pay for it? I say dare not. There are cost constraints to every single thing we do. And so if you want to stop and I forget the phrase people use. If you want to stop infant mortality, you got to pay for it. But it's an easy fix. You just have to pay for it. Like there are certain things in life we overlook, but we forget. Children that grow up well-adjusted come from households, usually with two parents, and households, and I'm not saying if you're a single parent, you can't do it, because my mother was a single parent and she did it. But by and large, a good parent in the home. You have to. And if your income is over $100,000, you're pretty much guaranteed. And I'm talking household. If mommy and daddy make $50,000 each, you're pretty much guaranteed to live a life and live longer. Money's important for everything. But we have people who have it screaming about how terrible it is. It takes privilege to complain about money. I'm not talking about complaining about not having it, but complaining about the fact that there's not enough to go around. People of certain incomes, regardless of race, live longer than people that are poor. We want to blame the food they eat. We want to blame all these other things when, in fact, it literally comes down to education and the food you eat. And those are the two things we're going to be talking about at the summit: education, healthcare, how you care for yourself. Because what I'm seeing is people are literally sidestepping the universe. They're sidestepping things that are true to come up with what they want. And so I found out that all their dreams and what they think for them is good. Reality? Optional.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hungry for something fresh and delicious? Get your favorites from Cousin Subs delivered straight to your door. From our freshly baked bread and hand-sliced meats and cheeses to our famous sides, crispy golden fries, Wisconsin cheese curds, or creamy mac and cheese. Every meal made to order and ready to enjoy. Ordering is quick and easy online or through the Cousins app. Whether it's a solo lunch, family dinner, or a spread for the whole crew, let us bring it straight to you, fast and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Your home has been working hard for you. Now it's time to let it work a little harder. With a home equity line of credit from Brewery Credit Union, you can turn the equity you've built into smart solutions. Pay off high-interest debt, remodel your kitchen, or take care of life's unexpected expenses with flexible access to funds when you need them. Apply today and put your home's value to work for you. Visit brewerycu.com or stop by Brewery Credit Union. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by NCUA.
Contract-ready businesses, opportunity seekers, partnership builders, deal closers. Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, is focused on you. This event puts small businesses like yours in the room with buyers, partners, and mentors who can help open doors to bigger opportunities. Join us online December 9th, in person December 10th and 11th at the Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee. Whether you're in construction, looking for contracts, or a service provider ready to grow, Marketplace Wisconsin is for you. Meet one-on-one with government reps, corporate buyers, and resource providers. Small businesses like yours keep Wisconsin moving forward. Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation is here to propel your growth. So join them for Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, December 10th and 11th. Register at marketplacewisconsin.com. That's marketplacewisconsin.com. Presented by WEDC. Let's look forward together.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Why didn't it play? Why didn't it play? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. I was trying to play a video, and it's not playing. Oh, well. That's life. Let me see if I can. Yeah, everything's going. So if you can go to the first story I have on there. There's a video on the side, but there's a commercial on it, so you're going to have to enlarge it and then scroll back to play it. Yep. And in the meantime, it's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it comes to your home, the smart play is trusting Gina Della and her Pella team. This month, October, you can score a whole house of new energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like a drive you can sustain for years, keeping your home comfortable thanks to incredible defense played by Pella Windows, stopping the drafts. Don't wait. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. Also want to remind you, Truth Summit, I mentioned it in the open, right? Truth Summit is coming, and that's going to be on October. That's going to be on November 15th from 10 till 1 at Thrive on King, 2153 North, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive here in Milwaukee. So doors going to open at 9:30. We're going to be talking about education, and we're going to be talking about healthcare. We're going to be talking about the two things that if you can handle and deal with those things so that kids grow up and get a good job and make a decent wage, they can live a long, healthy, full life. That's just me, though. That's just me. So I came across the story, but rather than me read it, I thought you should listen.
Attorneys say a man in a medical crisis ended up behind bars instead of getting help. Tonight, a new lawsuit says Kingsley Bimpong suffered a stroke while driving. It claims 3 Eagan police officers and 8 Dakota County correctional officers ignored every red flag. As Ubali explains, the lead attorney says their decisions cost him his life.
But every step along the way with Eagan and the jail defendants, it was a conscious choice of deliberate indifference to not bring them to the hospital.
According to the lawsuit, Kingsley Bimpong left work at the Postal Service early last November because of a headache. Minutes later, he made a left turn on red and was pulled over by Eagan police. The suit says Kingsley could not tell police his own name or where he was coming from. Instead of calling for paramedics, the lawsuit says officers thought he was on drugs. But according to the lawsuit, no field sobriety test was done. And the suit says officers who searched his car found nothing to indicate drug or alcohol use. At one point, attorneys say an officer can be heard on body camera audio suggesting Kingsley was suffering from a stroke. Kingsley was transferred to the Dakota County Correctional Facility, where the suit says his condition got worse. Images included in the suit shows him lying on the cell floor.
And ends up, losing control of his bladder, rolling around in his own urine, and clearly in pain and struggling for hours when no one's helping him.
More images in the lawsuit shows people standing outside Kingsley's cell and what appears to be Kingsley lying on the floor.
There were checks happening. They weren't reacting to anything that could easily be observed. You know, him on the floor.
It wasn't until he was foaming at the mouth that attorneys say help was finally given to him. Kingsley later died. The filing says no drugs or alcohol were found in his system. In a statement, the city of Eagan says while Mr. Bimpong's death is tragic, he was not exhibiting an objectively serious medical condition that was obvious to lay persons at the time he was in the Eagan officer's custody, and there's no indication that he required emergent medical treatment. Dakota County said they could not comment on a matter under active litigation. Uba Ali, WCCO News.
So I'm going to put my cop hat on. I'm going to put on 30 years of law enforcement. I'm going to put on about 6 years of being a lieutenant at State Fair Park Police, dealing with groups and crowds of people who drink a lot. I'm going to put together 3 years as a lieutenant. 3 years? 3 years as and some change as a lieutenant at Milwaukee. 10 years as a sergeant, sometimes acting lieutenant, and police officer, sometimes acting desk sergeant. When people are exhibiting something and you have no idea what it is, and they're strange, and something's going on, what they used to do in Milwaukee, I'm not going to talk about what they do now, I'd have to scour their rules and procedures, but I'm pretty sure you get medically cleared. If we think anything is in your system, if there's a possibility anything is in your system, if you're intoxicated and you're showing intoxication, but you have no smell of alcohol, you've got no liquor in the car and no drugs, I'm going to think there's either a mental health issue or you're going into a diabetic coma or you're having a stroke. Either way, I'm calling an ambulance. That's me. And I'm armchair quarterbacking, and I get that. That's fairly widespread known in police training. When all else fails, turn them over to a higher power, call medical professionals, and let them deal with it. They would have told you immediately, 95% sure, this guy's having a stroke. He's driving on the wrong side of the street. When you stop him, he doesn't know where he's going, where he's coming from, what his job is, what his name is, where he lives, nothing. So he's got a rapid loss and sense of surrounding. That by itself. Milwaukee police were taught some 30-something years ago, hey, those are stroke symptoms. And one of the cops said, hey, I think this guy's having a stroke. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't the senior officer there. Or it wasn't the officer whose call it was. And so now they promptly go, arrest him. And so I'm sure you got him to the district or got him to the precinct, whatever y'all call it, got him to the jail. And as you're processing him, he's not all there. Or he might have normalized and then went back into an episode, which, from the looks of the lawsuit, that's what happened. When you should have done something and you didn't do it, and you should have known you should do something and you don't do it, in the legal sense, that's usually what's called deliberate indifference, and that's what the attorney mentioned. Is this deliberate indifference? Why I believe they're going to fail, we'll talk about in a moment. Al, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Hey, good evening. I think it's a horrible, horrible situation.
Yep.
I just hope when the shoe get on the other foot, they let them cops rot too, and they can see how it is. When somebody else don't act like they care and their family can visit them in the graveyard. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and it's about principle. Have a great day.
Hard to disagree with him. Hard to disagree. We're talking about something that's trained as a first responder, that level of training, right? You got first responder, then you got like paramedic and whatever those are with the ambulance people. I always get them confused. One is more than the other. And then you get like registered nurse. Well, I guess LPN, then registered nurse, then physician assistant or whatever it is, or nurse practitioner, and then you go all the way up to medical doctor. Basic first responder tells you, which is like a touch higher than just regular first aid, tells you, something's not right here. We need to call a medical official. We need to call a medical professional. And they didn't. So unless you were across the street from where you were locking them up, it took at least another 30 minutes. You know how much damage can happen when you're having a stroke in 30 minutes? Eddie's on the ground, urinating on himself, foaming at the mouth. Then you call? Too late. It's got to be drugs. You made assumptions because you filled in the blanks based on what you thought. And I think it's going to cost them. My question is this another George Floyd incident? Is this another where we sit and watch a person die and don't do anything about it because we think we know better? You always err on the side of caution. And yes, I'm going to armchair quarterback. You always err on the side of caution. And you call a medical professional. Not because you know, but because you don't know. One ambulance. Check him out, he's fine, then take him to jail. And when those instances happened in Milwaukee, we've seen police officers get in trouble. When the person tells you, hey, I'm having and you blow them off. Oh, everybody says that. But remember, there's 600,000 cops, and we're talking about one or two. So let's not do a blanket, all cops are bad and all cops are this, because this happens every day, and people catch it every day, and they get medical treatment every day, and everything works out fine. Dr. Ford, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. How are you? Are you a medical doctor?
Dr. Ken, yeah, I'm an emergency medicine doctor.
Okay.
All right. I wanted to touch on just the fact that you brought up right now. So I would say, in my experience working at several hospitals in the city and kind of surrounding neighborhoods too, Milwaukee police and North Shore police, they do a good job at bringing patients in when they are exhibiting symptoms that are outside the ordinary, right? So just like you said, it's not a blanket statement for all officers, but if something's not adding up, it's better to err on that side of caution, especially in the setting of stroke symptoms. Typically, when I train residents and students, when we usually will see people that come into the department for medical clearance, we usually I will train them to err on the side of caution even more, right? So this patient is going to be in police custody. If there's something that's not adding up, if they have a symptom, we want to make sure you work that up because, at the end of the day, you don't want them to go back to, jail or wherever they may be going and have the officers say, oh, no, they just went to the ER, they're fine, right? So it's something that all of us as first responders, everybody on the front line, this is a vulnerable population that we work with. Mm-hmm. And, again, you don't want to throw your hands up. You don't want to say, they'll be fine because they just, they're just acting X, Y, and Z, right? There's always this chance that something could be going wrong, and this is the last opportunity we have to intervene.
And so would you call this indifference, or do you believe officers should be trained well enough to know it? There was no alcohol present. There was no smell of alcohol. They didn't find any drugs, no open containers in the car.
Yeah, so, it's tough because, it's tough to put yourself in the shoes of the officers that were there. But at the same time, if it was a jury, they're probably going to lean on the side of indifference, kind of given the basics that we're taught now as first responders. And all the, Milwaukee police officers that I've worked with in the past know all the BFAST systems, mm-hmm. right? So that's what we typically will use for strokes, right? So right. Balance, you're looking at the eyes, making sure there's no blurred vision, making sure there's no facial asymmetry, the arms are not, drooping, speech is normal, and that, they're able to call 911 if any of those things pop up, right? And so, these are all things that we are all trained at, and we're doing a better job across state lines and training our first responders with that. Because again, time is money, time is brain in this situation for strokes, and seconds and minutes matter, right? And so it's going to be hard to prove in medicine. We often have to prove for malpractice is deviation from standard of norm, right? So are you doing something that a doctor at a Commonwealth, would normally do, right? So in this case, I think the police officers would have a hard time proving that they did not deviate from the standard of norm in this case, because any first responder, any paramedic, basic BLS will tell you that this is what's going on with this patient. We need to at least rule this out.
All right. Well, thank you much, Dr. Ford. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care. And it basically comes to that basic life support, just basic first aid, right? You're on the wrong side of the street. You don't know where you are. You don't know your name. You don't know what you're doing. There's something wrong here. Me personally, and I know it comes from training and experience, and I have more than most people, but that's something that's trained in the academy. When in doubt, you haven't cost anything. If anything, you cost the city having to pay, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 for an ambulance to roll up. Is that $1,000 worth you going to prison or the city? And now this little town has a $120 million lawsuit, and they're not going to give them $120 million, but it's going to be 6 zeros in it, and it's going to be 7 digits, and they're going to have to pay. Brian, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Yeah, what was the makeup of the arresting officers? Were they white?
Completely irrelevant. I don't think that does that matter?
Yeah, that definitely matters.
Why?
That would explain.
So do they get off?
Indifference.
What if they were black? That doesn't your actions explain indifference, not your race.
Well, I'll tell you this. Common sense will tell you that most black folks know when another black cop is going to know. A normal common sense black cop is going to know when somebody
absolutely not.
That's having a problem.
That's Brian. Brian, you're my dude, Brian, but that's ridiculous.
I have plenty of family members that are in law enforcement, and there's one thing black folks do have. We do have common sense, and we know how black folks act. White folks do not know how black folks act.
So what you're saying is that if you're driving down the street, that's a black thing? That if you're driving down the street and you don't know your name, it's a black thing? Like, what exactly are you saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
Black folks, a black cop is going to know if a black man doesn't know his name that there's something wrong and there has to be a medical issue. And
but most of the white cops I knew it too. Like, what? Why are you making this a race issue?
That's why I was asking the question. Was he white or black?
No. But does it matter? Does it matter?
It definitely matters.
Really?
In this city, it does matter. It does matter.
Wow.
In this city. In this particular city, it does matter.
All right.
And do we know the cop? Was the cop white or was the cop black?
I don't know.
That's the question I'm answering.
I don't know, and I don't really care. If you screwed up, you screwed up. If you didn't, you didn't. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I say this. If he was white or black, I say just fire the cop, move on. Fire the cop, move on.
But time out. What if they were black?
Fire them.
But wait a minute, you just brought up race. So then why worry about race then?
I'm not worried about it. Either way.
No. You brought up the fact that a black cop seeing this should have known. So if it was a black cop that did it, are they racist and did they have deliberate indifference too?
They were negligent and they deserve to lose their job.
Oh, wow. So now we're changing laws and statutes based on race?
No, we're changing it based on the circumstances that they caused, whether they be white or black. I'm just explaining the differences between mentalities of how white folks look at us and how black folks look at their own.
While I agree with you to a point, I don't think in this instance that was the case. I think it came down to training. Now,
well, you know what the problem with police officers? Maybe the people that are doing the training are not training right. Maybe they're fallible.
No.
Maybe the training that people always talk about, we got training this, training that. Maybe y'all don't know what the heck y'all doing in the first thing.
Okay, well then don't call 911. Okay. All right, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Oh, Lord, have mercy. And now with 101.7 The Truth traffic, here's Debbie Lazica.
Well, westbound 94 is backing up from just before 27th Street through to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, we got some backups from just before 84th Street to about 70th, and then back on the brakes right through the Stadium interchange to 35th. We do still have this accident on 43 southbound at about Keefe off on the right shoulder. Delays coming in from Capitol Drive down past that point all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound, we are seeing delays basically from Kilbourne all the way up to North Avenue. And then on the bypass, couple of accidents still causing some issues. One on 894 southbound at National, off on the right shoulder, delays coming out of the zoo with that one. And then another one heading into the Hale interchange off on the left shoulder. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, showers likely, mostly cloudy with a low of 53. Tomorrow, morning showers, mostly cloudy then with a high of 60. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazica on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We believe that self-care isn't selfish. I'm Maddie from Sweet Talks, a women-owned and operated medical spa fostering self-love and confidence. We believe that beauty is about feeling empowered from within, and it's truly a passion for our team at Sweet Talks. Your goals are our goals. Our services go beyond injectables, including facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. There's even a cafe, complimentary to all patients. Get started today at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Join us for the Greater Milwaukee Urban League's annual Black and White Ball on November 1st at the Bear Center. This elegant evening supports vital programs in employment, education, and economic opportunity for our community. Enjoy an unforgettable performance by national recording artist Sean Hinton and step out in your finest black and white attire and be part of something transformative. It's not too late to be a sponsor or reserve your seats by visiting gmul.org. That is gmul.org. The Black and White Ball. Building brighter futures together.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened and we know things happen and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease and he's on dialysis and he wants to get on the list and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a
water.
choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute, even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Center update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series went to the defending champs.
The pitch.
swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Went to a fastball about neck high, and Blake Trinan gets the final out of this ball game. A 2-1 final score in Game 1 of the NLCS.
The strikeout from Bryce Terang came with bases loaded. Game 2 in the best-of-7 series is tonight with Shiba Yamamoto pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers against Freddie Peralta for the Brewers in the matchup of All-Stars. In the American League Championship Series, the Seattle Mariners took a commanding 2-0 series lead after a 10-3 win against the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday night. And on Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears moved to 3-2 overall with a 25-24 win against the Washington Commanders. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We're playing some D'Angelo. You know, he passed away today at age 51 from cancer. So he'll be dearly missed. He had children with Angie Stone, right? And Angie just died in a car crash. So now the kids are parentless. Oh my gosh. Somebody brought that to my attention earlier. It's like, wow. Hey, we got breaking news from Fox6Now.com. MPS Athletics Director is out year after playoff paperwork mistake. Bobby Kelsey is no longer employed by Milwaukee Public Schools. The district confirmed on today, last October, a paperwork mistake disqualified 2 high schools from the playoffs. Bob Malbeck will assume day-to-day operations for the athletics office moving forward. Who wrote this? They wrote it for tomorrow. Anyway, Athletics Commissioner Bill Malbeck, who's been working with MPS as a limited-term employee on special projects, will take on additional operational duties to support the Office of Interscholastic Athletics and Academics. Malbeck will work alongside Andrew Rosa, who is serving as director of Milwaukee Recreation, in an underfill role. Kelsey, who led the office since 2019, was responsible for submitting paperwork that would have finalized conference changes for Bayview and Pulaski High Schools last October. The failure to file the proper documents left both schools, you got this, ineligible for postseason play, with officials confirming the football teams must forfeit every game this season and next season, along with playoff bans. The Milwaukee City Conference operates under a promotion regulation system similar to English soccer, where the winner of the Blackburn division moves into the Richardson division, and the last place finisher in Richardson moves down. Bayview and Pulaski had swapped divisions before 2024 season, but MPS officials say the change was never formalized because of paperwork. So now they forfeit 2 seasons completely gone. All the games you play. So how do you go to college and say, hey, I played for, or actually I didn't. And all those games I played, they're not. And the team we're supposed to have for next year, because I'm a senior, we won't. Wow. I feel for them, but hey, y'all, Brenda Caselius is no joke. No joke. 833-212-1017. Is the number. Who's up in here? Hey, Quanda, how's it going? Study Hall is here. Not really a city girl. What's going on? Willie, what's up? Sylvia. Hey, don't be calling me that. See, Sylvia wasn't here yesterday. You see that? Sylvia said, hey, Dr. Ken, how are you, sweetie? She wasn't here yesterday when my wife was here, was she? She was like, I'm not going to talk. Let me see. Dimitri, how you doing? I'm doing good. Quanda said, I better not pop off or I will make she going to make her one call. That's all to Mrs. Carla here. No, you're not. You don't even know our number. Get out of here. Beat it. See, them RNs stick together. Them RNs stick together. I tell you. You all y'all just going to tell on me. Threw me under the bus. What's up, Curly Q? How are you? Everything is doing well. Thank you, Dimitri. Dimitri say, rest in peace, D'Angelo. Thank you. You know D'Angelo's real name? Like he had I heard he has a normal plain old name, and I'm like, how y'all get D'Angelo from that? But Demetri said, why don't you play Brown Sugar? Because we gonna play it eventually. Just give us a break. Give us a break. I know you wasn't. Michael Eugene Archer, also known as D'Angelo. They was like, hey man, I'm gonna play this music. They was like, oh, that's some beautiful music. Who made it? Michael Eugene Archer. Who? D'Angelo. Oh, okay. Wow. Sincere say all of their actions were intentional and non-caring. Well, we don't know that. Don't do that. Let's let this lawsuit play out. The chief got a cover for the. The chief got a cover for the cops and play his part. So when they do pay, it's not a lot of money, but they're not gonna just throw it out there. Yeah, they did it. They messed up. No, they gonna. Yep. He said all them cops were bad. No, they weren't. Just the one that made the final decision to do it. So should the cop that said, I think he's having a stroke, get slammed? See, you don't understand. Cop culture is like nursing culture. It's like medical doctor culture. When the big boss says, this is what we're doing, when the person with seniority says, this is what we're doing, when Dr. Ford tells a resident, this is what we're doing, that's what you're doing. And if Dr. Ford is wrong, I'm just using Dr. Ford as an example because he called. If Dr. Ford is wrong, then Dr. Ford takes the hit. The trick should be one of those residents should say, hey, when I was in school, we did this. Is that the same as this? And then Dr. Ford can explain it. Hey, it's this, it's that, it's this. Oh, okay. But when you're hard-headed, and in law enforcement, got to admit that, sometimes you get tunnel vision. This is what we're doing. This is what it is. That's what I decided. Well, you're wrong. And it's the same thing as the Asian cop who was new and probationary that they ended up sending to jail just on GP. Well, you were there with the sergeant or whatever his name was who killed George Floyd. Well, I think that, me personally, I think that was too much. That's civilians that don't understand the culture of law enforcement, and they don't understand the rules and procedures that if you're the senior officer, you're in charge. So the senior officer who had his knee on George Floyd's neck took the hit and should have been the only one that took the hit when the other officers told him to get off and he didn't. So what should you do? Knock him off, push him off, beat him off? And then every time you go to work and every time you call for help, they don't come. See, there are so many other circumstances that happen that people don't want to hear, right? They don't want to know. They just want you to do your job. And they don't understand all the things that go with it. Should they have called? Yes. I believe they should have called 911. They should have called an ambulance and had him checked out. They messed up, and so now they gonna take it. Reginald said it's lousy when the paramedics get super stupid and slow, asking a gazillion questions before getting into traffic and out to the hospital. Well, they have to, because by law they got to follow a certain pattern so they can show the standard of care was the same for everybody. And I suggest you go back to the beginning when Dr. Ford called before the traffic and explained there's a standard of care you have to give, and that standard of care has to be consistent so that everybody is covered. I mean, it's a risk management thing. That's what I'm calling it. It's a risk management thing, and your insurance won't go through the roof. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That is what they have to do. And it has nothing to do with common sense. You're filling in what you think it should be instead of filling in the facts. It's like, I guess it's like my opening. It's like reality, it's optional. We'll just decide it's this. Well, no, that's not how it works. The facts are going to come out. Not really. A city girl said, I think this is a training issue. There's a personal choice and maybe some bias. You don't know that. I know EMTs are trained to identify stroke victims. No way they were completely oblivious to it. Well, they may have been, because he might have been at the beginning of his stroke. He was still ambulatory. He was still moving. He was driving a car. He was talking. He just didn't know who he was. and didn't know where he was and didn't know his name and all that, right? I dare say 99% of the cops would have erred on the side of caution. I'd rather get screamed at by a supervisor for calling and finding out it's nothing than to have the guy die and find out it's something. Reginald say, God save and protect us all. Well, he always will. Sylvia said, I wouldn't care if he was purple and stood upside down. If he could save my life, come on, save my life. Said, like you said, Dr. Ken, one EMT even stated that he felt the man was hurt. It wasn't an EMT. It was a police officer that said it. I think. I didn't listen to the whole interview, but I believe it was a police officer who's heard on body cam saying that I think he's having a stroke. And none of them followed that hunch, not even their training, not in good faith. But we don't know that. Stop filling in the blanks when you don't know. B. Bruce say, training, blah, blah, blah. How about returning some old school common sense? This is not a common sense issue. It's a totality of circumstances, and the circumstances didn't add up for one of them who probably ended up being the senior officer and made a call, and it was wrong. And a person died. And now they're going to have to live with it.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this.
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Aww.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Contract-ready businesses, opportunity seekers, partnership builders, deal closers. Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, is focused on you. This event puts small businesses like yours in the room with buyers, partners, and mentors who can open doors to bigger opportunities. Join us online December 9th and in person December 10th and 11th at Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee. Whether you're a construction company looking for contracts or a service provider ready to grow, Marketplace Wisconsin is for you. Meet one-on-one with government reps, corporate buyers, and resource providers. Small businesses like yours keep Wisconsin moving forward. Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation is here to propel your growth. So join them for Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, December 10th and 11th. Register today at marketplacewisconsin.com. That's marketplacewisconsin.com. Presented by WEDC. Let's look forward together.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
The Humane Animal Welfare Society, HAWS, believes in keeping pets healthy and families together. No one should have to choose between rent and veterinary care. The Wellness Clinic at Hawes Animal Shelter in Waukesha offers important basics of dog and cat care to our community. Pet owners can schedule general exams, sick visits, receive vaccinations, even get preventatives and nail trims. Appointments are available weekdays and can be scheduled by calling 262-542-8852. Contact Hawes of Waukesha today for your pet's care. Ready to hit the road in your new car? At Brewery Credit Union, we make it easy with affordable payment options on auto loans designed to fit your budget. Whether it's a brand new ride or the perfect used vehicle, we'll help you get behind the wheel faster. With flexible terms, quick approvals, and personalized service you can trust. Don't wait. Start your journey today. Apply online at brewerycu.com or visit us at Brewery Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. We'll be playing music for most of the day from D'Angelo, who passed away today, born in 1974. Passed away at the age of 51. So, tough break. He had children with Angie Stone, and she died, I believe, last year or earlier this year in a car accident. And so now their children are parentless. So y'all keep them kids in y'all prayers. And look, yeah, it's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Yeah, this year? Yeah, Angie Stone passed away this year in a car crash. And I was talking to somebody, they were like, that's like some Final Destination stuff. I'm like, bottom line, yeah, other people driving. Car crash. What's her name? Left Eye? Driving down in Brazil or Argentina, somewhere in Central America, and went over a cliff. Driving a Jeep too fast. And Aaliyah in a plane because she wanted all her luggage on the aircraft. I would have told her, no, it's not going. Well, if you don't do it, you're fired. Then I'm fired. But guess what? Ain't nobody here to fly the plane. Goodbye. And now everybody dead. Ego and money. When them two go together, Lord have mercy. They have one son together, 27 years. I don't care if he's 7 years old or 2 years old. He could be 27. Thanks, Fonz. But that's still, you don't have any parents. Like in 1 year, you lost both your parents. That's tough. That is tough. Player said the police completely mishandled this. A person off the street would have recognized something was wrong. No, they wouldn't. With him, y'all couldn't tell you his name, age, or anything else. Clearly something's wrong. True. And why would drugs be the first assumption? Because some people who react that way because they do drugs. And the majority of the times you deal with people like that, when they're incoherent, they did drugs. And so unfortunately, sometimes people make the assumption and it's wrong. They go on to write, or anything else, clearly something is wrong, and why would drugs be the first assumption? And then they threw him into a cell and let him die. Well, it wasn't like that. We don't know his face was drooping. Stop. Like, y'all adding stuff in that you don't know. None of that was reported. You have no idea. And we already said they were complicit in his death. Like, I agree. But here's the kicker. And here's something I wanted to share. But I can't because I got to go to top 5 at 5 literally in 5 seconds. But when we come back, we're going to talk about deliberate indifference. This is 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Perspective is essential. What I found is the news behind the news is more important. I want you to leave my show with a sense of knowing what was missing that adds depth to the conversation. Tune in Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. on the new 101.7 The Truth, the Truth app, or 101.7thetruth.com.
I'm going to say something. I'm a conservative, as you know. I might not agree with you all the time, but even when I don't agree with you, you crack me up. And the other guy, he just pretends conservative all day. And you do make me think. But when you do better than anyone, you think on your feet.
Now that was a compliment coming from somebody who is as Trump-loving as he is, that can appreciate what we do here.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. A judge from South Milwaukee resigns after being charged with making false statements on election nomination papers. 40-year-old Kelly Martika faces one misdemeanor count of false swearing. Prosecutors say Martika ran for municipal judge in South Milwaukee while being a resident of Racine. They also say she falsely claimed that she personally circulated the documents to get the signatures required to run for office. Martika won the election in April but resigned in September. She pled not guilty last week to the charge, and if convicted, she faces up to 9 months in jail. Wisconsin food assistance programs are at risk as the government shutdown enters its third week. More than 7,000 Wisconsinites could lose their SNAP and WIC benefits in November without a funding solution. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is asking the state legislature for $70 million to help keep the services running after funding cuts from the Big Beautiful Bill Act. DHS also needs more staff as the department processes more paperwork related to new work requirements mandated by the law. Ascension, Wisconsin reaches a new agreement with United Healthcare. The multi-year agreement ensures that individuals and families with United Healthcare coverage can continue receiving care at Ascension, Wisconsin hospitals, clinics, and outpatient facilities without disruption. This includes patients covered under Medicare and Medicaid plans. The two sides failed to agree on a contract renewal by an October 1st deadline. At the time, Ascension said the reimbursement rates offered by United Healthcare did not keep up with rising costs. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, want to remind you, you can listen live and win special Truth giveaways by downloading the 1017 The Truth app at the App Store or Google Play Store. You can always watch us live on YouTube. Like, let me see who's hollering at me, because y'all was hollering at me the other day. Like earlier today. Left eye was the only one killed. Several other girls were in the car. They're still alive and never spoke. Very suspicious. Maybe they pushed her. Okay, let me stop. Unless you're saying those reports are lies. I don't know. Ritual sacrifice. Okay, stop. Y'all going down a rabbit hole that's just cray-cray. Okay? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Yeah. So let me see a couple things. First of all, Glenn, you did a commercial, and I like animals. I'm a cat guy. I'm not a dog guy. I don't like dogs. And you said that, some people, and I know you were reading what you were directed to read. And yes, I'm teasing. They gotta choose between paying your rent and helping Fido. And I'm like, what? Like, if I'm in a position to have to pay my rent or help my dog, I'm getting rid of my dog. Where'd I get my dog from? Okay, y'all can have the dog back. I'm out. That's just me. I can see if you was trying to feed your children. Feed your children or feed your dog. Like, or pay your rent. Well, I'm feeding my kids. We'll just be homeless. I'm feeding my kids. Nourishment. Life. That's important. A dog? And I know some people love their dogs like their family members.
You lucky I can't find the boo hotkey.
I'm glad you can't. I don't care if you boo. You could go boo. I boo myself. But I'm just saying. You just better make sure we don't boo tonight when the Brewers play. I'm just saying. They got to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Number 5.
They need to come back against the Dodgers. I don't think, everybody argues they fell short and the bases loaded and they had a great pitcher. But you know what you get with that? You get the L.
It's just that simple, yeah.
They wasn't flying them flags last night, was they? Mm-hmm. L. Loser. And that hurt. The reason it hurt, because they didn't lose 2-0. They didn't lose 9-0, 9-1, 9-3. They lost 2-1 with the bases loaded.
Would you rather get completely dominated or lose a close game?
I'd rather be completely dominated, because then it's gonna make you mad, like they got before they won them 2 games. They got mad, they got smoked. They're like, this ain't happening tomorrow. They got smoked right before they played the Dodgers. And went in and just said, nope, we know, and just murdered them.
I think there's an encouraging sign coming out of that game last night, though. I think how often...
An encouraging sign?
Because
that's the encouraging sign.
I'm just saying, how many other guys in the rotation do they have that can pitch 8 innings and throw 10 strikeouts? Besides Shohei Ohtani, who might not pitch that long because they need him to bat. So
And you got Miz. And you got Uribe. He held it down. Now, come on, you got to give it to him. He held it down.
He did give up the deciding run, though, which is, we got to look at that, too. But he came in and, he stopped the bleeding. It would have been much bad if he didn't compose himself towards the end. But the bats will be better tonight. I think it'll be a much higher scoring game. That's what they have to do, essentially, to beat the Dodgers, because the pitching is going to be there. So,
but the one thing that I'm finding is that if you don't score early on the Dodgers, you're not going to win. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? If you score first on the Chiefs, you could beat them. But if you don't, you're getting shut down. And they got shut down.
No, absolutely. That's the thing. They want to get to the bullpen as early as humanly possible. So if they could have gotten any kind of hits or thrown Blake Snell out of his rhythm, I think they would have had more of a chance. But you let somebody get comfortable, and then you don't have to use as many arms. So
now, can you pinch hit? So I would have thrown a reverse batter. If you're used to having a right-hander, I'd throw a lefty at you. I'd put like 3-4 lefties in a row. Throw off your cadence. Something. But, and Council had their number. they just happened to have a good night because Council had their number. I mean, he trained them to do what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this was a bad game by any means. Again, there was nothing that they could have done differently. They just kind of didn't come up clutch.
Right.
Terrain, bases loaded, you swing at something high, it happens. He'll be better tonight.
Nah, that is not supposed to happen.
Hey.
Because it was a ball.
He wanted to be the hero, though.
That's a calculation, though.
There were a lot of people saying he should have got hit by the pitch before that, though, which is insane. I don't know how anybody thinks you can just take a 90-mile-an-hour pitch off the kneecap, but...
Yeah. Well, he would have took it. He just wouldn't be playing tonight. Okay, we got the run. We're tied up, but we lost a player. One of our good players. No, that didn't make any sense. You always have to live to play another day, and that's all you have to do. So they did, and so now they're here. And now tomorrow might be a different story. Might be a different, interesting. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
Yeah, so that's the update. Oh, by the way, the city council, I think they might be on to something.
Number 4.
So you remember we talked about the wheel tax, right? That we talked about. And I kind of made the suggestion, and somebody made the suggestion, well, as city leaders craft Milwaukee's 2026 budget, this from CBS 58, the most contentious item is Mayor Cavalier Johnson's proposal to raise the city's vehicle registration fee, which I don't think we should do, commonly known as the wheel tax. One alderman wants to what? Defund the city's streetcar as budget balancing measure. Absolutely, yes. Milwaukee's current registration fee is at $30, in addition to the $85 state fee and $30 from the county. So you add that up, 85 plus 30 plus 30. That's $145 without thinking about it. If you got a vanity plate, it's $165. So that's $155 annually under Johnson's plan to raise the city fee to $40. And then you get another, $20, $25? So it's about $165 you'd have to pay for vanity plates. According to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, a $40 wheel tax would tie Milwaukee with Madison, Janesville, Fitchburg, Oregon, Shawano, and Evansville for the steepest in the state. So what? Milwaukee's total cost of $155 would be the state's most expensive, edging out Madison's $153. An analysis of Johnson's proposed budget by the Wisconsin Policy Forum notes the last increase from $20 to $30 in 2021 raised $3 million in new revenue. The analysis found this proposed increase would generate nearly $3 million in additional revenue. I say no. Get rid of the hop. Burn the hop down. Alderman Scott Spiker said, should we even be looking at that as long as we're sending $7 million a year out the door in the form of a streetcar? And so the hop began operation in fall of 2018 after being constructed with a federal grant, mistake number one. And now it costs $6.9 million to operate an idiot car that doesn't go anywhere, that goes around in a circle downtown. How stupid is that? How stupid is it? Well, is it as stupid as a government shutdown?
Number 3.
From WISN.com, officials with Wisconsin's Department of Health Services said WIC and food share benefits will be impacted if the shutdown goes into November. Officials point to a Friday letter from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to state agencies that said if the current lapse in appropriation continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay November SNAP benefits. So what should we do? Should we pay it? Should the state of Wisconsin pay it? I wonder how much. We got 59,000 families receiving WIC funding, which is the special supplemental nutrition program of women, infants, and children. Governor Tony Evers previously indicated he may take executive action if the shutdown continues, and he should. As the governor, we got all these billions of dollars sitting in here from COVID money that you've used for idiotic things, like putting it in schools where there are no children. So you may as well go ahead and do it. You may as well go ahead and help people. It's unfortunate.
Number 2.
This from CNN. D'Angelo, whose cool tunes and one hot music video turned him into a legend of neo soul, has died. That's according to a statement from his family. He was 51. He died today after a prolonged and courageous battle with cancer. The family says, we're saddened that he can only leave dear memories with his family, but we are eternally grateful for the legacy of extraordinary moving music he leaves behind. We ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time, but invite you all join us in mourning his passing while also celebrating the gift of song that he left for the world. And that's unfortunate. I was talking to somebody today. You know, his name is Michael Eugene Archer, born in Richmond, Virginia, son of a Pentecostal preacher. D'Angelo. Where'd they get D'Angelo from? You know, them music folks be putting stuff up. And so, I mean, had some great music, some phenomenal music, actually. I found it touching. And I guess with this next story, I have to use my favorite phrase. They're back.
Number 1.
From CBS 58, Ascension, Wisconsin announced today it has reached a new agreement with United Healthcare, ensuring patients with United Healthcare coverage can continue receiving care at Ascension, Wisconsin hospitals, clinics, and outpatient facilities without disruption. Now, I hope this goes great, but I know a lot of people in my circle. I know of at least 10 to 15 people that said they're not going back. And I hope this doesn't impact Ascension in a negative way. Ascension says this agreement is effective immediately, and importantly, Ascension held claims for services furnished between October 1st and the 13th. Services received during that period will be covered at in-network rates, and patients should not be billed for out-of-network costs. So that's a good thing. So they're back, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I wonder what the impact is going to be as we go through it. 16 minutes after the hour, you're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. Right now it's 58 degrees, mostly cloudy. They're expecting a little bit of rain. Just a little touch. They expect some rain, but I'm not really seeing it. But they're expecting rain. There's about a 15% chance of rain. Wind is from the north-northeast at 10 miles an hour.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
What is a DJ? Do we just play music? Maybe some are that simple. For me, I create memories that last a lifetime. I'm always thinking about how songs connect. I read the room. Every event is an open canvas, a new world. So what's a DJ when you hire me? I'm a vibe architect, a curator of euphoria, a guaranteed good time.
I know you want me. Every day, not only when you're lonely.
Whether you have a wedding, festival, corporate event, or any other special occasion, get your free consultation with DJ Remaniac today.
Trailblazer.
Your home has been working hard for you. Now it's time to let it work a little harder. With a home equity line of credit from Brewery Credit Union, you can turn the equity you've built into smart solutions. Pay off high-interest debt, remodel your kitchen, or take care of life's unexpected expenses with flexible access to funds when you need them. Apply today and put your home's value to work for you. Visit brewerycu.com or stop by Brewery Credit Union. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by NCUA.
Join us for the Greater Milwaukee Urban League's annual Black and White Ball on November 1st at the Bear Center. This elegant evening supports vital programs in employment, education, and economic opportunity for our community. Enjoy an unforgettable performance by national recording artist Sean Hinton and step out in your finest black and white attire and be part of something transformative. It's not too late to be a sponsor or reserve your seats by visiting gmul.org. That is gmul.org. The Black and White Ball, building brighter futures together.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Tired of having the wool pulled over your eyes? US Cellular is offering 4 lines for $90 a month with your choice of 4 of the latest phones for free. No trade-in or hidden requirements. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
About this girl, maybe I should. I met her in Philly, and her name was Brown. See, we be making love constantly. That's why my eyes are a shade blood burgundy. The way that we kiss is unlike any other way that I be kissing when I'm kissing. What I'm missing, won't you listen? Brown sugar, babe. I guess high off your love, I don't know how to behave. Brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar.
Hey, you're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. Glenn might be on to something. Look at him trying to move. Y'all know how black people rock, right? We rock on the one. That's just weird. We just have our own cadence, our own way of moving, our own way of music. It's just great. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. B. Bruce said, I believe Angie and D'Angelo passing in the same year is about as unbelievable as Building 7 falling because of a window fire. LOL. Yeah, that was weird. That's just a weird, yeah. But this is the same person that said they wonder if tourism increases on the 30th and 31st in Salem, Massachusetts. Do you believe in witches and witchcraft and all that other stuff?
I don't believe in ghosts, witches, none of that.
You don't believe in ghosts?
Nope.
Ooh. You don't believe in getting haunted and all that? Wow. How come everybody always waving at you? They don't wave at me? Because they don't like me. That's all I had. That's all. I really couldn't think of anything, and I couldn't say nothing on the air. So I'm like, Anyway, so wow, that was mean. You hurt my feelings. Wow, he scratched his ear like, is that like a millennial Gen Z way of telling me blank you or something? Or okay, all right. Glenn said yes, so okay. Now I'm really offended. Y'all really hurt my feelings. Somebody actually told me, you don't have any feelings. I said, no, I do. I just don't show them to you. Wow, Reginald. So Glenn, you know, I was teasing you about the dog. You either pay your rent or help your dog, which I don't really understand that. Reginald said, get a hunting dog. That way everybody eats. But it's going to bring back a squirrel? No. Have you eaten squirrel, by the way? What's the most exotic food you've ever tasted?
Escargot is delicious. That's
escargot? Snails?
So good.
Raw or cooked?
Cooked in like garlic and herb butter with
so like steamed and
baguettes or whatever they call the bread. I've also had duck. Duck is pretty good.
Duck's not exotic.
That's not an exotic food
to me, because I ate duck growing up, and duck is too greasy. So
I can't think of anything crazier. Like, I would never eat alligator. I wouldn't eat
swordfish.
Say that again?
Swordfish.
I feel like that's not too exotic. It's fish.
What about shark?
I don't know if I could eat a shark. But I have heard I've heard most of these foods taste like chicken.
That's because all we eat is chicken. I mean, you can't argue. I mean, you know, somebody says zebra. I don't think so. No, we're not doing that. We're not eating a zebra. What about horse meat? I've never had horse meat. LT said needs a psychological study on why different ethnicities feel different about dogs as pets. It ain't an ethnic thing. It's me personally. I just don't like dogs. I'm just not into dogs. Curly Q said, I don't feel like gator is exotic. Okay, so watch this. If you eat anything that can eat you, it's exotic. Alligator, crocodile, they can eat you. Whale, they can eat you. Shark.
Someone said zebra, though. A zebra would never eat you.
I'm just reading what's on here. They said gator. I'm just talking about gator. Don't be messing up I mean, it's just, would anybody even eat a zebra? Like, would you eat horse meat? I've never ate horse meat. I don't get it. I have a very limited palate, and I get talked about all the time. You have a limited palate, and you should eat better. You should eat more. Nope. Steak, fish. I don't like catfish. I know I'm black, but I don't like catfish. I don't like perch. I'll eat catfish if there's no bones in it. When I was growing up, I got a bone stuck in my throat from eating catfish, and from then on, I'm like, we're not doing catfish. So I don't do catfish anymore. Bear meat. What they call it? When you eat Bambi?
Venison?
Yeah.
Venison is good.
Okay. Okay. Y'all just throwing stuff in there now. Bison and stark steaks and all. Come on now, stop. I am not eating Bambi. Y'all eat Bambi? Dang, dude. I ate Bambi down to the hoofs. No. Can't do it. I eat chitlins. You're not black if you don't eat chitlins. Glenn, you are not black if you don't eat chitlins. Black people eat chitlins. Now, let me rephrase that. I only eat chitlins I clean. Hey, my mama cooked some chitlins. Oh, that's nice. We want some? No, that's okay. I'm good. I had some earlier. I am not eating your chitlins. If I didn't see them get cleaned or I didn't clean them, nope. Curly Q, you're not black. Just because your picture show you black, you're not black because you don't eat chitlins. Are you sure you black? Curly Q said, well, I'm sure not black. Okay, then. Can we cancel Curly Q out of... Curly Q, you do not get a hall pass to come to study hall. You have to go back to the homeroom. Got to go back. No, I don't eat catfish because a bone got caught. She said the man who don't eat catfish. I don't eat catfish because a bone got caught in my throat, and now I'm hyper, like, I'm just scared that a bone go get stuck in my throat, so I don't eat catfish. Now, if I can get the chunk of catfish, right, you know, little thing, you cut it out, ain't no bones, I'm good. Then somebody's like, oh, no, all you got to do this, you turn it over, you can pull the bones right out. I'm like, no, they did that the last time I was looking at it, and then I bit into it, and it stuck in my gums, and somebody had to get it out. And I'm like, absolutely not. What about pork?
I try to stay away from it.
Hot links?
Yes, for breakfast typically.
But see, you're from New York, so you know what a hot link is. Here, I said, can I have a hot link? They were like, what? I was like, a hot link. You mean a brat? No, not a brat. A hot link. And they
Staple
come
in the Pearce household.
And they come in different. Sometimes they're hot, and not like with jalapeno, but with actual peppers. Hot. I came here. They was like, "Oh, you want some rib tips?" They gave me some rib tips. I looked at them like, "What is this? What is the rib tips?" No, those aren't rib tips. Oxtail. Okay, I'm done. Oxtails, ham hocks. Ooh! And this is something my mother, before we go to break, I know we got to go to traffic. Debbie Lazago's waiting. I didn't understand what this was, and then I saw it, and then somebody told me what it was, and I went, are you kidding me? Hog head cheese. You don't even know what that is, do you? Is your family from the South or are they from the islands?
Virginia, mainly in Maryland.
Oh, Virginia? Okay. So, hog head cheese. I think hog head cheese is like hog brain that's been sliced. That's what it looked like. My mother gave me some hog head cheese, and I lost my mind. Oh, my God, it was terrible. And I would never eat it again. I don't eat hog maws. What's the closest I've gotten to eating pork? I haven't eaten a pork chop in years. I'm trying to think. Pork, maybe a hot dog? That's about as close as I got. About as close as I got. I just can't. Y'all be eating stuff that just don't. Well, look at this. If you can eat pork, and if you can eat all this other stuff, you can eat chitlins. If you can eat the outside of the cow, you can eat the inside too. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic. Now for the final traffic hit of the day, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Right now, northbound 4394, not looking too bad. We're looking actually pretty clear all the way into the Marquette. Where you do slow down is heading westbound on 94. It's going to be slow all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. Beyond that, you're good to go all the way into Waukesha County. On the eastbound side, we've got a couple of areas of big delays. We first of all got the delays in Waukesha County from that is Meadowbrook Road all the way past Highway 16 to about Barker Road. We do have that accident right about at Highway 16 off on the right shoulder. And then more delays just inside the Milwaukee-Waukesha County line. And those delays stretch all the way to about Hawley Road and a few more taps of the brakes heading out of the stadium interchange. So that'll get you to AmFam Field there. Southbound on 43, we are seeing delays from just before Good Hope Road down towards Bender Road. Back on the brakes from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette to the KK River. Southbound 41 backing up from before the county line at just before Good Hope Road, and that'll take you slowing all the way down past Hampton. Beyond that, you're good to go into the Zoo interchange. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, showers likely, mostly cloudy, a low of 53. Then tomorrow, morning showers, mostly cloudy with a high of 60. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Sherwin Hughes with his truth.
You ever notice how the phrase 9 to 5 sounds just so old school? That's because in 2025, the 9 to 5 is as outdated as a rotary phone. Let's be real. The world has changed, and the way we work has changed with it. The gig economy is booming. Folks are making money on their own terms, driving Ubers, delivering DoorDash, freelancing, and side hustling their way to the bag. And then there's the work-from-home revolution. People are clocking in from their kitchen tables, their favorite coffee shops, or even the beach. Laptops open, pajamas on, productivity up. The virtual office is now the new corner office, and the only commute is from the bed to the desk. Let's not forget about the digital nomads, those bold souls who turn the world into their workplace. They're sending emails from Bali, closing deals in Barcelona, and living life on their own schedule. No time clock, no cubicle, just Wi-Fi and a dream. And 21st century entrepreneurship, well, it's a whole new game. You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9-to-5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9-to-5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
This Associated Bank Sports Center update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series went to the defending champs.
The pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Went to a fastball about neck high, and Blake Trinan gets the final out of this ball game. A 2-1 final score in Game 1 of the NLCS.
The strikeout from Bryce Terang came with bases loaded. Game 2 in the best-of-7 series is tonight with the Shiba Yamamoto pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers against Freddie Peralta for the Brewers in the matchup of all-stars. In the American League Championship Series, the Seattle Mariners took a commanding 2-0 series lead after a 10-3 win against the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday night. And on Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears moved to 3-2 overall with a 25-24 win against the Washington Commanders. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I don't know if I should call him out or not. Should I? So, want to remind you that the countdown is on for the second annual Truth Summit happening Saturday, November 15th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Thrive on King, 2135 North, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee. It's free, it's in person, it's an event that brings together bold voices and sharp minds to tackle Milwaukee's biggest challenges. For me, healthcare disparities and fixing our broken education pipeline. So I'll be leading the charge with some expert guests and some real talk, and you don't want to miss it. Lock in your seat now at 1017thetruthsummit.com. 1017truthsummit.com. All right. And so to show y'all, I'm going to do this. 1017truthsummit.com. Boom, 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 boom. And so I see it. It says Truth Summit. And then get tickets. And so you click get tickets. All right? I got one ticket, and I'm a register. And if I can do it that easy, you can do it that easy. What's my name? Dr. Ken Harris. Email address at goodkarmabrands.com. See, it's that easy. Confirm your email. Type it in again at goodkarmabrands.com. Then I click Keep Me Updated for more events and news from this organizer. And then click Register. And that's it. Then they send you an email with your ticket. You go to your ticket. You show up. Da-da-bing, bada-bing, bada-boom. And everything's set. That's all you got to do. All right? Doors open at 9:30. Panel discussion begins at 10. That's presented by 1MKE and Thrive on King. So we're going to have a great time 1017 The Truth Summit. Got it? If you can count, you can do it. You can do it. So I was talking about before I left, deliberate indifference. So we talked about that before. In a law enforcement context, deliberate indifference refers to a conscious or reckless disregard by a police officer or government official for the constitutional rights, safety, or medical needs of individuals in their custody or under their care. It goes beyond negligence. It requires that the officer or the police department or whoever knew of a substantial risk of harm and failed to take reasonable steps to prevent it. So if somebody said, hey, you think this guy's having a stroke? He might. That should be enough for you to do it. The concept is often applied in civil rights under 42 U.S.C. 1983, which is Civil Rights Act, particularly involving excessive force, failure to render medical care, inadequate training, or jail or prison conditions. Courts evaluate whether officials acted with deliberate indifference to an inmate's or citizen's rights guaranteed under the 8th Amendment for convicted people or the 14th Amendment for pre-trial detainees. So people ask, where did this come from? Well, you got Estelle v. Campbell from 1976. It was the 8th Amendment standard that established that deliberate indifference to a prisoner's serious medical needs constitutes cruel and unusual punishment. It wasn't until 13 years later, in 1989, there was Canton v. Harris that found that municipalities responded superior, right? The people that hired them, the people that are in charge of them, the bosses, the organization, can be found liable when their failure to train officers amounts to deliberate indifference toward a citizen's constitutional rights. You should know as a law enforcement officer there are certain things you can and can't do. And because you should know that, you should be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Act in a reasonable way so that you guard that person's constitutional rights. And when you don't, it's deliberate indifference. And then 5 years later, Farmer v. Brennan, Brennan, clarified the standard and said officers must actually know of and disregard an excessive risk to inmate health or safety. And that is one of the things they did. So you can have what? You can have medical neglect where you just ignore it. You can have failure to train where the police department fails to train you on what you should know. You have unsafe conditions like a jail where you should know certain things can happen, like water being turned off and the person needing water and all that. Or you can have a failure to protect. You know that there's a danger with another inmate or something hazardous in a jail and you don't do anything about it. And then something happens. You know, open electrical socket and you know that if you don't fix it, somebody could get electrocuted, or there's water and they get electrocuted. So it's fairly straightforward. There's no like secret thing that people, well, you know, I don't know whether or not. No, you should actually know that. It's given. It is very, very, very specific. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, Quanda, she on her way home. So, hey, Quanda. She had to go back to the doctor, and now she's going back home. Somebody snagged Dr. Harris for a free-range prairie. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. All right, so I got some stories I want to look at before. Then we got to take a break, and then we, go home and all that stuff. But got a couple stories I want to cover because I need y'all to tell me it's something wrong with me. So from Fox 6 Now, a West Bend woman accused of child neglect that led to serious injuries suffered by a 5-day-old baby has reached a plea deal. I'm wondering how that happened. So Janet Solis pled guilty yesterday. A single count of neglecting a child consistent with great bodily harm. She got sentenced to 2 years in prison and 4 years extended supervision. So what happened? They were notified on November 4th last year. A 5-day-old infant had suffered skull fractures at Aurora Medical Center in Grafton. The complaint says defendant reportedly, you ready? Overdosed on heroin while in the hospital, and the infant was found on the floor by a member of nursing staff. Which you think, there's a problem here, right? Well, detective investigating the case obtained Child Protective Services report which showed there were ongoing concerns related to drug use by the co-defendants Solis and Berg, who I believe was dad. The complaint says Solis did not have any prenatal care due to her fear of CPS becoming involved, but admitted to smoking, you got this? Marijuana and using heroin while she was pregnant. Now, this is the part I don't understand. You ready? Solis's urine was positive for both marijuana and fentanyl, and the infant also tested positive for cocaine, fentanyl, and THC, and was suffering from withdrawal following his birth. So then they checked on her, and the baby was on the floor. Why would you let a mother near her child when she's a daily heroin user 2 to 3 times a day, and you gave her baby? Berg, and I'm assuming that's the guy with her. I have to go back. They interviewed him, and he stated that the hospital staff asked him about her drug use, and he told them that he had no idea she was using drugs, but he was using drugs too. So how'd she get it? Right. Ridiculousness. Ridiculous. You hear me? Why would you let her near her kid? Am I being mean? Okay. And for Pete's sake, Pete Hegseth has lost his mind. From CNN Business, the Pentagon is telling beat reporters to sign restrictive new rules by today or surrender their press passes by tomorrow. Virtually every news outlet is rejecting the ultimatum and saying they will not sign. The Pentagon Press Association, a body that represents the beat reporters, says the new policy championed by Defense Secretary, he's War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, gags Pentagon employees and threatens retaliation against reporters who seek out information that has not been pre-approved for release. That's idiotic. In a statement on Monday, the association said that potential expulsion from the Pentagon should be a concern for all. You know what I would say? Goodbye, Pentagon. And leave. And just don't report. Like anything that comes out the Pentagon, just don't report it. If it's good, don't report it. If it's bad, don't report it. I know you love veterans and all that stuff. Don't report it. They said today we join virtually every other news organization in declining to agree to the Pentagon's new requirements, which would restrict journalists' ability to keep the nation and the world informed of important national security issues, the statement read. The policy is without precedent and threatens core journalistic protections. We will continue to cover the U.S. military as each of our organizations has done for many decades, upholding the principles of free and independent press. So you got big cable, broadcast networks, Reuters, Associated Press, New York Times, Washington Post, The Atlantic, and NPR said they are not signing it. I agree with them 100%. Hey, by the way, do you know who Rockman Dunbar is? Well, I used to watch this TV show called 911, and he claimed that he was wrongfully terminated from the show for refusing to go against his religious beliefs to get vaccinated against COVID-19. So now he sued Disney Plus, and now they're going to court. Disney's 20th Century TV is arguing that the 52-year-old actor whose trial began today, according to Variety, fabricated a religious excuse to avoid complying with the company's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Well, if I was him, I would have too. I would have told him to go kick rocks. So, is religion still something that people respect? Well, we know one group that don't respect it, and I think it's called Disney. Right. Also came across a story in Black Enterprise. You all might have heard about this. Joe Budden, podcast, co-host, Queen's Flip. So he accused Mark Lamont Hall, who's a PhD. saying that he used tricky words to manipulate public opinion in his favor. Is he trying to say that, like, educated black people, like talk better than him or something? I mean, is that something he's saying? I mean, is that actually something he's saying? Because if that's the case, then I guess I'm guilty. Oops. Guess I'm guilty. The on-air clash did more than spark buzz around the Joe Budden podcast. It sparked a broader cultural conversation about black intellectual renaissance underway. Hill, a respected academic who served as a CNN analyst, published author, professor at Temple and now CUNY Graduate Center, often brings a scholarly lens to the show's hip-hop and pop culture debates. So what they're really saying is that he shouldn't be who he is. He should dumb it down. Well, watching them go head-to-head, a social media personality, Queensflip, who built his platform through virtual and viral hip-hop reaction videos, struck many viewers as symbolic. As one Instagram user put it, the moment felt like black intellectual renaissance. So what I'm hearing is that y'all not used to intelligent people talking on the radio and talking on social media?
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chain with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella Windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The 2024-25 Bucs season promises electrifying performances, unforgettable plays, and even more historic moments. Be part of it by securing your seats now at Bucs.com/full. Bucs season ticket members get the best pricing, premier ticket locations, and exclusive benefits. Secure your season membership and lock in your seats for what's sure to be an unforgettable 2024-25 season at Fiserv Forum. This era of Bucs basketball is something special. Get your tickets now at Bucs.com/full.
Don't let a trade-in get in the way of the phone you want. Now you can get $1,000 off any phone with no trade-in required, and we'll pay off your current contract when you switch. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Wow. So Reginald said, I want to try that stainless steel Brio fire pit barbecue grill I saw on a TV commercial. So you know what I did, right? Brio X30 smokeless fire pit, $1,599. 36-inch fire pit, $139. Yep, I'll get that one. You're listening to Truth of the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat, in the talking text line, Fonz and Quanda and Player Made and everybody that's showed up. I want to say thank you for being here today. I will see you in 22 hours. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you. God bless. Take care. Stay out the rain.
Be quiet.
I'm out.